Hey guys, this is Shadney. Welcome back to my channel for another process video. Today I'm doing a video based on this layout, which is one of mine. This month I was asked to be the artist of the month for Simple Scrapper. And this is one of the ones that was used to make a sketch, to build a sketch for their online community, which is amazing, by the way. I was also given like a little subscription for their community, and it's amazing. I'm gonna have to invest in it after the subscription's over because it's got a lot of really cool stuff that I did not realize that they did. Like online crops, I did not know that was a thing. It's so fun. Anyway, so this layout I'm doing based on that sketch, and so I've already started it off video, but what I've done is I've taken a random piece of scrap paper that I know I'm not going to use, and on the back I've drawn out the shape that I want, which is just a giant star, and then drawn out kind of a starburst from the center so I know kind of where the lines go. And then I'm just cutting little strips of paper, and they're like graduated in sizes, so it's like a long skinny triangle basically, to do that starburst base. And then I'm deciding where they're gonna go and kind of trimming them down to fit a little bit, but not perfect so far. And then I'm going to adhere that down. And then at the end, whenever I've got them all done all the way around, it's really hard to get your last pieces to fit in. These are super easy. It doesn't matter if they just butt up against each other. You can totally overlap each piece, or you can just wait to the end. And what I did is just at the very end, just one piece, one edge got overlapped just a tiny bit, because you just can't, it's hard to get them just perfect. So there we go. And then I'm just finishing, that's the last piece. And you can see it's not perfect on the back. I'm going to take my cutting mat and use my X-Acto knife to go back and cut it all out. And I left the edges on that star. You can see the top two edges and the bottom left, where the point of the star should go all the way through the paper. But I did it like that just to keep it together, so it was easier to add the starburst paper on top. So now I'm going to go through and cut all the edges and cut through those pages. And then I'm going to go back and just add adhesive and add that to the background paper, which is this nice yellow grid. And then you can see I've already added the first two. And then once it's all adhered down, I'll trim it down. Like whenever I used the cutting mat to trim it, I only did the inside of the star for now, and then I'll trim the rest in just a second. There we go. So that's all adhered down. And this is a pretty simple technique that you can do for any shape that you like. It just gives some fun interest to the background, especially when you have a lot of paper you want to use. If you do a large enough shape, this is really good for 6x6 pages too, that you can use up a lot, or use up scraps. All of this was brand new pages from, or mostly new pages from Crate Paper's Hello Pumpkin line. And it was just because that's what I've been using for my Halloween pages, and I just didn't have anything cut into already. If I had the 6x6, I probably would have used that instead of cutting into my brand new 12x12s, which is really kind of sad. So here we go. I've got it all trimmed up and ready to go. And then I had made a mark in the middle of that background paper, just so that I kind of knew where the center was. And so, oh, sorry. While I'm recording this right now, it's 5:30 in the morning, because that's the only time you can get up and have peace and quiet in this house, so to do a voiceover. So I'm very tired. I'm very sorry for yawning. Anyways, I had drawn that little mark in the middle just to kind of know where the center was, so I went back and erased that. And now I'm just trimming my photo down. I don't want it that full 6x6, so I just trimmed it to kind of more of what size I want, of what I want in the image of the photo. And then I'll go back and back that with white later. Now I'm using the Heidi Swapp Color Shine. This one is like a mustard yellow. I think it's called mustard. And just adding some splatters across the background. And then I'm going back and just kind of wiping up some of the bigger splatters. I've decided if I don't do that, even if I shake it enough, if I don't go back and take away some of the biggest puddles, that they usually end up leaving like the weird halo ring. So then I'm going back and I held my picture over and there just wasn't enough of what I wanted. So I'm going back and adding just a little bit more and just kind of repeating the process. And then there we go. We're dabbing it up a little bit. And then apparently I didn't cut enough of that out. So now I'm just making sure where I want my picture and then wiping off the shine from my tabletop. And then I'm going to go in and add in a white border around the edge of the photo. I do that for like almost every picture. I don't know of one that I haven't done that lately. I just think it gives it a nice pop to pull the picture up and make it more focused. And then the white kind of, it usually kind of separates it from the rest of the page. So now I'm going to just kind of clear everything off and set the page up like I want, and then go through all of my pages over here and find some embellishments that I want to use. That piece is huge, but I love it. It's from a big chipboard page that I don't know what the brand is, and I'm not for sure that I want to use it yet. I added it to some wax paper and just trimmed it up off camera, and then just kind of laid it there because I wasn't sure if I wanted it or where I wanted it. And then I'm going through some of the cut apart pages from Hello Pumpkin and just trying to decide different bits and pieces that I want to use. So there's a little witch. I will go back and trim her up later, but right now I'm just trying to pick out all the parts that I want. And then I also pull in a chipboard piece from the Hey Pumpkin collection later too. This collection's just so fun. I love it. It's my favorite. I feel like I probably should just buy up a bunch and hoard it because I can't ever imagine loving another Halloween collection as much as I love this collection. It's just so cute. So now I'm pulling some more, just another little piece from the other cut apart sheet. It also worked out really well this year because India's a witch this year. So it has a bunch of cute little witch sayings. Broom hair don't care. I think there's a hocus pocus. Wicked good. I can't remember. There was another funny one. So I'm just adding more little bits and pieces. And then this little tag that I cut out of one of the cut apart sheets, I'm just trimming it up. Later off screen, I will cut out or punch the hole out of the middle. And I'm not using it for the phrase. I'm just using it for the tag. I'm going to pop it up behind the picture just for an added layer. So there's that. And then I think that's when I finally decided I wasn't going to actually use the banner. So there's that little chipboard piece I pulled from the chipboard sheet. And then I'm just kind of arranging things and trying to make sure where I want everything. And I pull out, this is from, I don't remember the brand, maybe the DIY. Anyways, it's just a little spider web doily, and then I'm just adding that in there behind for some extra texture. So now I'm going to start going through and just kind of adhering everything together. I'm starting with the tag, adhering that behind the photo. And then I realized I forgot to add twine. And I think that was when I took it off camera and punched the hole. And then I'm just adding some baker's twine. I have this cute doodlebug baker's twine that is black, orange, and white. And so I'm just adding that in there. And then I don't know if I did it now or later, but I end up stapling the baker's twine, like kind of running it down the side of the picture, and then I'll staple it. No, I do it later. So there I go, adding some more layers, just sticking things together. The ultimate goal is to have everything stuck together so I can move it around the page, which is what I'm doing here. So I'm adding the next big piece. I'm also, right now is when I'm deciding what I want stuck together. No. Now is when I'm deciding what I want popped up off the page, because those pieces I'm going to stick together and then add the foam. So here I'm adding the foam, and this is just plain craft foam that's got adhesive on one side. So I'm just trimming it down to fit. This is nice because it's a little thinner than normal foam, so it's adding dimension without going overboard. And it just gives it a nice subtle elevation. So I'm just getting that on there. I'm not adhering it down to the page right now. I'm then going to build off of it and add the other pieces. So here's where I stapled that baker's twine in place. And then I'm just going to go back and keep adding things, adhering behind the foam now. So I'll just add a little bit of adhesive and tuck it under, still trying to get it all as one big piece. And then I'm going to use that little chipboard piece because it's going over top and some of it's popped up. I'll adhere the top part, and then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of foam to that bottom part. And then I didn't realize this, that I knocked the video, the arm that holds my phone, I guess I knocked it crooked, and it's like cut off the very bottom part of the video. So next time I'll try to be more aware of that. So here I am just adding that tiny bit of foam to the bottom edge of that little chipboard piece. So now I'm going to use just a tiny bit of tape runner to adhere that doily to the back of just to the very center of the doily, to the back of that foam as that whole piece, so that stays together as one piece as well. And then I'm using this not gold, why did I say that? This Heidi Shine that, it's like a dark silver, like a pewter color. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's pewter colored. And then I'm just doing the same thing, following the same kind of diagonal line that I did with the yellow before. I just felt like it needed some more color, some more texture. And then I've got that all ready. I'm adding that back and just kind of making sure where I want it and everything. And this is where I kind of decided that I wanted to add something more. So I'm marking where the edges are, where my picture, that whole cluster is going to cover. And then now I'm going back with I have this cute little grid ruler. It's amazing. I love it. It's from Hobby Lobby. I think it was like $3.50 in the drafting department over kind of by art. And it's got every 1/8 inch marked, like as a grid, so it makes it really handy. So now I'm just going around and marking an 1/8 inch all the way around the star. And then I'm going to use my Amy Tangerine little piercing pad and piercing tool, and then go around and pierce all the way around, and then add some fun stitching. I'm using this nice teal color, and then I'm just doing an easy, simple backstitch. And then I'll do that all the way around. Thankfully, I don't make you watch it the entire time because that would be so boring. And then whenever I stitch, I use washi tape on the back just to hold it flat, because you don't want to tie a knot and then have this weird bump in your page. It just wouldn't be pretty. So here we go. I'm just gonna keep going all the way around, and then if you need to start and stop and add different thread, I mean, not necessarily a different color, but if you run out of thread and have to get more thread or whatever, you just do the same thing. Just add the washi tape to the back and trim it down. So eventually I'll cut this off and fast forward. So there you go. I've got it completely stitched all the way around, and I'm just adding that last bit of washi tape to tape down the very, very end. And you can see on the other side, I've got this nice turquoise border all the way around. It just kind of makes that shape stand out a little more and adds a fun color. And then my page was like kind of wrinkled, like not wrinkled, curled a little bit because of holding it to do the stitching. So now I'm just looking for another little embellishment, which I end up using this little pumpkin. It's cute, and I fussy cut him out. And I just need something behind, like between where the witch in the photo is, there's just that open space, and I didn't like that. So I just needed something right there. There we go. And he just fit perfect there. And then I'll turn the page over and I'll add just a tiny bit of foam just behind the top of the witch and the pumpkin. And this will, so that the bottom is still flat against the page, but the top gives a little bit of dimension. So now I'm just adding adhesive to the whole back of this like cluster, just to stick it all down. And I'm lifting up the doily and adding the adhesive only to the foam, because if you add that adhesive over the doily, it's going to tear it. But if you add it just to the foam and then lay it back down, it'll stick through. So just getting that out, all adhesived up on the back. And then I'm going to stick it down. And then I guess here's the part where I added the adhesive to the back of those little pieces. I thought that was earlier, but apparently not. So I'm just getting the adhesive stuck to the back of those. And then finally, maybe I'll stick it all down. There we go. Yay, it's finally on. And I don't know if I do this on camera or off camera, but I do go back and trim off that tiny little corner of the doily that's hanging off the edge. Oh no, I did it now. Perfect. And then I pull out these stickers, and this one is different phrases, and it says witches on it, which was perfect. And then the phrase I want to use is "she's a witch," which is a Monty Python reference. So I pull that out, and then I'm going to trim off the ES, so it just says witch instead of witches. Never be afraid to alter things to make them what you want or what you'll use. If you're not going to use it with those extra 2 letters, then just trim them off. Don't worry. So now I'm just trying to decide on the other letters I'm going to use. I love these little striped ones, but I don't end up using them. They didn't stand out enough on that, with all that background paper, all the different colors. So I pulled out these other thickers that match perfectly. They both these letters and the witch, they are black foam, and they have gold foil over the top. And thankfully they are the exact same gold, so it worked out perfectly. So I pull out the wax paper, and I'm just gonna arrange it. Add the letters on there, and then trim it down so I can kind of move it around and decide exactly where I want it. So I'm just getting all the letters down. Usually I'll fast forward or cut out the part where I do all the letters, but I didn't have that many letters for these words. And then I'm trying to pull off the witch off of the background paper, and I think I cut that part out in just a second, but it was awful and it would not come off. And then I just stuck it down on a piece of, or no, I didn't stick it on a piece of wax paper because I didn't want a chance having to pull it off again. So now I'm just trying to decide exactly where I want this. I would love for it to fit in down there, but it's just not. And anywhere I stick it that's closer to the photo would just have too much like white space for me. Like not that white space is a bad thing, but the trapped white space. And some people that doesn't bother, and that's totally fine, but weird things like that bother me. So I finally get it stuck down up there. Plus, I think up there, it kind of stands out too. And it makes it kind of its own little grouping of embellishments later. So now I'm going to use this handy dandy grid ruler that I was telling you earlier I loved. And I am just arranging and sticking down those letters just to make sure they're straight. There we go, all stuck down. So now I'm just pulling out a bunch of embellishments, what I like and think I might use, or no, I will use just little bits and pieces. There we go. And then I'm just going to go through and just add these extra bits. This is a Brad. I think almost all of these are from Tuesday Morning. If you have not heard of or gone to Tuesday Morning for scrapbook supplies, do it because it's amazing. They get relatively new stuff and steep discounts, like half price. So especially for thickers, if you find thickers you love, then I don't feel bad buying like 2 to 3 copies. There's several that I found, like anytime I buy thickers, as long as they have more than one at a Tuesday Morning, I will get at least 2, no matter what. If I'm going to buy thickers, I'm going to buy at least 2. And then I don't feel so bad buying them because then they're like $2 a piece instead of $4 or $5 a piece. So anyway, sorry, moving on. So this is where my phone died and I lost the rest of my embellishment. So here is just the whole layout at the end. And you can see all these up close pictures, so you can see all the added embellishments I added. I did some enamel dots, some little puffy stars and hearts. I didn't go too overboard over the top this time, which is surprising. So enjoy the rest of these photos. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and leave me a little comment. And then subscribe if you want to see more videos. Y'all have a good day. Thanks. Bye.